Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. وصلاة ربي وسلامه ورحمته وبركاته على رسوله الأمين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد. We continue 6:43 p.m. 6:43 p.m. Friday, December 13th, 2019, which agrees with the Islamic calendar. The Saturday night, technically on the Islamic calendar, is Saturday night, is on the 16th of Rabi' al-Thani. I think technically now it's the 17th of Rabi' al-Thani, if I'm not mistaken. 1441 after the Hijrah of Mustafa alayhi salatu wassalam. We continue in Kitaab At-Tawheed as we almost finalized the chapter which pertaining to Tatayyur wa Tira, which is pertaining to evil omens or the belief in superstitions and its effect upon one's monotheism. For everyone, just excuse me, I'm a little bit under the weather. As we completed the majority of the chapter, if everyone looks in their books, as we completed the hadith, the Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As, which has been related in Imam Ahmad in his Musnad, it was mentioned that dua, where it said, well, first it says in the first part of the hadith, من ردته الطيرة عن حاجته فقد أشرك. Whoever is held back or affected where they do not set out for an affair because of some type of superstition or omen or bad luck, whether it be from the birds or otherwise or other than the birds, meaning that it made him turn away from a certain affair that he wanted to embark upon, from his daily affairs in his life. And if this happened and it held him back from taking care of a necessity of his, he has committed polytheism. He has committed polytheism. We said that this is pertaining to any affair in which one was to take care of in his life or her life. Whereas they embark upon an affair, then something of a superstition happens, or something of an omen, or what have you, and then you turn away from it. No matter what it is. Doesn't matter whether it's to set out for a job, or set out to even look for a job, or even set out to handle certain business. No matter what it is. You go out, leave out the house, you just happen to see a black cat walk in front of you, then you turn away and go in the house and said, forget it. I don't think it's going to be successful today due to the fact that a black cat ran in front of me. For that reason, I'm going back in the house, or I'm not going to do it. The Prophet ﷺ is saying that all these affairs here in this hadith here, all of it is applied to those type of what? Those type of beliefs and those type of superstitions and those type of what? Beliefs. Because all these are the beliefs of Jahiliyyah. These are the beliefs of pre-Islamic ignorance in which the Prophet ﷺ came to destroy. He came to destroy all these ideologies because it's from those affairs that disconnect and detach one's heart from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And like we said, it's from the affairs of polytheism. Is it major or minor? We talked about this and we'll go over it again inshallah. So this is what the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, even though he mentioned here, if this affair, if it holds you back, or if it makes you change your mind, whereas now you do not want to set out to do it, or set out for an affair to actualize, you turn away because something of an omen happened. It's not only pertaining to just turning away, it's also pertaining to what also will make you go out to do it. You'll find in the narration here, it's talking about what will hold you back from doing it or turn you away from doing it. But it's not just for It's not for only what? One, not setting out to do it. Also, something that might be an incentive or an encouragement to go out to do it. For example, I set out to go outside and let's just say, from a superstition and what people believe, some bird poop fell on me. So that means as a result of it that today will be very prosperous today or lucrative in my business. So now I feel better. I feel now that something has happened of a superstition that makes me now. Maybe I was a little bit reluctant, but due to the fact that happened, that made me now want to what? Really want to set out to do it. The hadith also is applicable to that also. It's not just what makes you turn around to change your mind not to do it, but to also what make you go out to actually what? That might even increase your enthusiasm to do it more. So the hadith is applicable for both affairs. So the Prophet ﷺ said, or as it says in the hadith of Ibn Amr, or Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As, مَنْ رَدَّتُ الطِّيَرَ عَنْ حَاجَتِهِ فَقَدْ أَشْرَكَ. Whoever that his tiyara, his omen, has turned him around from a need of his, he has indeed committed polytheism. We said, what is the expiation for that? As it says in the narration. فَمَا كَفَّارَةُ ذَلِكَ. What's the expiation? The Prophet ﷺ, as it says in his narration, even though we said it's da'if, here, this one specifically, we said the meaning no doubt is correct. He says, أَن تَقُولْ, O Allah, there's no good except your good, and there's no omen except your omen. We explained this in the last class, right everyone? Oh, I'm sorry everyone, astaghfirullah. The last hadith, that we talked about the last dua that came before that, we explained that. This is the new one. We didn't explain this one last class, did we? No, the one before, there was 2 supplications. There's another one. Allahumma la hasanat, la yadfa'u al-hasanati illa, la yadfa'u al-hasanat. Both. لا يأتي بالحسنات إلا أنت ولا يدفع السيئات إلا أنت ولا حول ولا إلا بك ولا حول ولا إلا بك. That narration we went over, right? ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بك. Yeah, we went over that. No. طيب. No problem. But at any rate, the dua before this is that isnad is weak. This one is authentic. This one here specifically is authentic. I'm thinking about the other one. If you go back a couple of narrations, it says what? There's another dua. It says, O Allah, no one brings the hasanat except you, and there's no one that can repel the sayyat except you, and there's no might and strength except with you. That was one of the supplications that one would make. Then there's another supplication that one would make, as it comes in the last part of the chapter. It says, O Allah, there's no good except yours, and there's no tayr, the omens of the birds, except your what? Your omens and birds. What is it? How do they translate it in your books, everyone? No. There's no omen except your omen. What does that mean? We explained this. We explained it before. Yeah, we explained this. Go back to the ayat. What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say in his book? أَلَا طَائِرُهُمْ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ وَلَكِنَّ أَكْثَرَهُمْ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. Isn't there ta'ir, their omen with Allah? However, the majority of them do not know. What do we say the meaning of it? You forgot. What's the meaning of the ayah? Look to the beginning of the chapter. You guys forgot that fast? We have 2 ayahs that were mentioned. What's the first ayah? Tafadhal Ahmed. The ayah will happen with the story with Musa, Bani Israel. They said that Musa was a bad omen. Allah ta'iruhum inda Allah. Allah ta'irukum inda Allah. Tafadhal.
He sent Musa. So they're saying that about Musa, but Allah is the one who sent Musa alayhi salam.
That's not the meaning of the ayah. The ayah, if you go to the book, go flip back. Go back. Read the first ayah. What does the ayah say? No, Abdullah. Exactly. That ayah is pertaining with the story of Musa. It said, فَإِن تُصِيبُهُمْ سَيِّئَةٌ يَطَّيَّرُ بِمُوسَى وَمَن مَّعَهُ أَلَا طَائِرُهُمْ عِندَ اللَّهِ وَلَكِنَّ أَكْثَرَهُمْ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. If some evil was to befall them, يَطَّيَّرُ بِمُوسَى, they deemed Musa to be a what? Evil omen. He was the reason why all this misfortune and calamities has befallen us or afflicted us. طيب. What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? In the same ayah, in the context, Allah establishes a rebuttal against this notion. What does it say? Verily, their omen, what does it say? Is with Allah. What does that mean? All good and all evil happens by Allah with Ta'ala's permission. All the good and all the evil happens by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's permission. And by what He wants to happen. Of good and evil, both. طيب. So that shows that Allah wa ta'ala, His dominance is of good and evil and its existence. Based upon that ayah. طيب. What was the next ayah? If you look in the second part of the chapter, look at the same book. What was the second ayah say? ألا طائركم عند الله أئن ذكرتم بل أنتم قوم مسرفون. Verily, same thing will happen with the people, with the mushrikeen, with those three people of righteousness that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent. It says two, but it says in the ayah, وَعَزَّزْنَاهُ بِثَالِث. We strengthened them with a third. If I'm not mistaken, that's what the ayah says. وَعَزَّزْنَاهُ بِثَالِث. That we strengthened them with a third. And it says, when they were talking about the misfortune, the calamities that had afflicted them, they declared, those three who came with the proper guidance, that they were the reason for these type of tribulations that had took place. It says in the ayah that those three who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent said, طَائِرُكُمْ مَعَكُمْ أَإِن ذُكِّرْتُمْ بل أنتم قوم مسرفون. He said, verily your ta'ir is with you. If you will only take heed, but rather you are people who have transgressed the bounds. Anyway, the second part, or that ayah, what did we say about it?
It was from the evil deeds of the people.
Ahsant. That was one of the meanings. That ta'irukum ma'akum. The omens are with you, meaning your actions is what played the part of these afflictions and these trials or tribulations afflicting you. Meaning that the result of what you're in now, the state you're in now, came as a result of your actions. Your actions is the reason. طيب. It was another meaning we said. What was the second? We said about the ayah. Quickly. We said that which you تفضل. That's what is the meaning? That you said we made that. There's another meaning. Now, that which you was taking place, or your actions is the reason. That's number one. That's another. That's a meaning we established and said. There's another meaning we said. That which you do, or which is saying about us, it falls back on you. All of it is against you. For verily, all of this what? all these trials and tribulations and the evil that you're blaming for us, all of it will be against you. And it will fall against you. That's what we mentioned. That was another meaning that we mentioned. At any rate, so now apply everything we just mentioned to this hadith here. There's no good except your good. There's no omen except your omen. What does that mean? There's no omen except your omen. Meaning, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the good and the evil, all of it is yours. You guys in these ringtones, what am I going to do with them? You guys have to change the ringtones. Put it on silent, brothers. Put it on silent. طيب. So what is the meaning of the hadith here? There's no omen except your omen. What is the meaning of it? Just explain in light of the ayah, the first ayah, what happened with Musa. All the good and the evil is from Allah, both. That's the meaning of the hadith. Both of them. Are you guys awake? I haven't ate anything since last night. I haven't ate nothing except drunk water, and that's it. Come on, you guys have to. I'm 42 years old. You young youth should be wide awake. Y'all should be having a lot of energy. Y'all guys have to be wide, awake, attentive. I didn't eat anything since what? 7 o'clock yesterday? I just did a full 24 hours today. That's what you do. When a person is a little not average, they do little weird things like that. But I'm wide awake. Come on, you guys. What's the meaning of the hadith? There's no good except your good. There's no omen except your omen. What's the meaning? There's no good except your good.
Nothing happens except by the permission of Allah.
Nothing of good or evil or anything that happens in existence except by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's will. That's the meaning. There's no player, there's no omen except your omen of good and evil. Nothing affects, nothing of good, nothing of evil can affect except by your permission. If you don't know what it means, write it down in your book. Is it clear what I'm saying, everyone? Based upon this hadith here, it says there's no good except your good. There's no omens except your omens. There's no deity of worship, worthy of worship, except you or other than you, subhanahu. Notice it says in this narration the expiation for that. Based upon what we will understand here, or number one, we want to say, here in this hadith it says, whoever's omen has repelled or restrained them or held them back from taking care of a necessity or need of his or hers, he has committed polytheism. Based upon this narration here, what type of polytheism? This is a qa'idah in all the abwab in the chapters of Kitaab At-Tawheed. Well, I want a person other than Rashid. What type of shirk has one committed here? Has he committed both? Major or minor? Or it depends? Other than Rashid. Has he committed major or minor polytheism? You went outside. I seen the birds flying west. Khalas, I'm going back in the house. Committed polytheism. Major or minor, do you nullify your Islam or not? What's the answer? Who wants to answer? Don't holler out. تفضل عمر. جيد. ممتاز. If a person now, if you go out the house, if just the mere thought came in your mind, you will not hold be accountable. If the thought just came to your mind. That's due to the narration of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. What does it say? what does it say right before? If you look in this statement, right before Abdullah ibn Mas'ud said this narration. I'm sorry, everyone. Look at the narration before that. That evil omens is polytheism, evil omens is polytheism. There's no one from amongst us except what? Except that it happens to him. Due to the fact that a lot of those people, or some of us from our environments that we were brought up in, except you'll find that sometimes that which we were brought up off of has its effect sometimes indirectly. It'll just happen. It's just something that would be an instinct because it's been embedded in you for so long. You understand? Go out. Someone swept your broom, took a broom and hit you in your feet. I was about to spit. He was about to spit on the broom. The person would say, what is that? That's a superstition. Like, you had the feeling to do it, but you didn't. Like, but why would it happen? Because it was like an instant what? It's an instinct. Right? So this is Abdullah ibn Mas'ud is saying here in the narration. There's no one from amongst us except this happens. That the thought comes in the mind to want to do it. Or have some type of what? Some type of effect by it. Or some influence by it. Either good or bad, right? However, there's certain expiations for that. Based upon this narration, you would think that you are held accountable for it. Because it says here in the narration in your book, what does it say, everyone? What's the expiation for that? Right? What does that necessitate? That you're held accountable. Just for the mere what? Of the mere thought coming to your mind. That's what you would think. Right or wrong? That's what you... That's what you would think. Right or wrong? Based upon the narration here, the Prophet ﷺ mentioned the Sahaba mentioned here in this narration, قالوا ما كفارة ذلك. What's the expiation for that? The Prophet ﷺ gave him an answer. So a person based upon this would think, just because the mere thought came in their mind of something pertaining to a superstition or oath or what have you, that they were going to act upon. Just a mere thought. They didn't do it yet. Based upon that, they will have to do some type of expiation, right? Is that right or wrong? No. It's wrong. It's not true. That's not true. Just a mere thought, if it comes over your mind, then you are not held accountable until what? Until you speak on it or act upon it. We have the narrations. You understand, everyone? Where is it at? Let me go back. Go back right there. So based upon this narration, of course, none of this has an effect on anyone until you act upon it. Or excuse me. You don't have to make or say this dua or what have you unless one acts upon it or what? Or speaks on it. Hence, no one is held accountable for anything until you speak on it or you act upon it. Just the mere thoughts, one is not held accountable for it of evil thoughts. Here it says, whoever's tiyara has pushed him back or held him back, not to set out for that affair. He's committed polytheism. Getting back to the origin of what we was talking about, which is what? Is it major or minor? Umar just mentioned and said, if you go out the house, you see the birds flying in the west today. If you think now that this particular matter is just a reason for turning you back or even making you to set out for a certain affair, and it's just merely a sabab, merely a reason, but you still ultimately believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who's totally dominant and in charge of every affair, and he's the one that administrates the affairs of this existence, but you let these birds did have some type of effect where it did hold you back, and you just think it's just merely the reason, then it's minor polytheism. Minor. You understand? If you think now that it has absolute power and dominance, and it has no connection, or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's power has nothing to do with this existence whatsoever. In this instance here, then it's considered what, everyone? major polytheism. That would nullify Islam. But at any rate, whether we say it's major or minor, it's still considered what? Still considered shirk. So it's clear what I'm saying? So when you see here, فَقَدْ أَشْرَكَ, he has committed polytheism here in this narration. It depends whether or not the person has the i'tiqad, the belief, or whether or not that particular affair, in which he believes is a reason, does it have total power, or is it just a reason or a means in which a person wanted to use to probably, more than likely, either protect oneself or it has one type of effect on one's life in some type of way or shape, form, or fashion? If he believes that this affair has total dominance of power, it's major polytheism. If he believes it's just a mere reason, then it's just what? It's minor polytheism. This type of qa'idah carries on in so many of the abwab and Kitaab At-Tawheed. You're going to find that it's repetition, that it repeats itself over and over and over and over and over and over again. For example, another example. You take a piece of string, wrap it around your wrists. You go out to play some sports, for example. Why do you wear that string on your arm? Every time I play with this string on my arm, I score a lot of points in the game. طيب, person would say that's a type of polytheism. طيب, is it major or is it minor? Which one? What would you say? Same thing I told you, just repeats itself. Tafadal. What would you say it depends? He thinks that this string is what? So yeah, some type of control. I wear this string every time I wear this string. I think it protects me from getting injured. I wrap it around my arm every time I wear this, something good happens. Every time I wear this string around my arm, I pass my test with high grades. What would you say is a major or minor polytheism? Or would you say it depends? What would you say, Ahmed? طيب. Jade, same thing that applies here, applies on those affairs. I wear this ring because every time I wear this ring, nothing bad ever happens to me when I wear it. This specific ring, for example. What would you say? Major or minor polytheism? Musa? Depends. Jade. But any time I wear these good luck shorts of mine, I wear these good luck shorts. Every time I wear them, I play the best game of my life. Every time I don't wear them, I play the worst game of my life. Major or minor? It depends. Why don't you give the same answer? I'll keep saying the same thing over and over and over. Follow the pattern. Yeah? Is it clear what I'm saying? Is it clear or is it not clear? Follow the pattern. Anything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not make as a reason to protect yourself or attain some type of benefit, ward off some type of harm, if Allah ta'ala did not make it a reason, then it's considered what? Major? Reason. Minor. The key word is the reason. Sabab. طيب. Is it clear what I'm saying? The reason. You have to even be careful. You can even creep in certain affairs, even what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did make a reason. You have to be careful. For example, in regards to dua, supplications, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made supplications of a legislated reason to protect yourself. Right or wrong? طيب, is your heart connected with the actual pages of the supplication, or is it connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Your heart's connected with Allah. I read the Quran, I'm reading this to protect myself from, I'm going to read Ayatul Kursi. طيب, so you read it, is your heart connected with the Quran, or the ayahs that's written in the Mus'haf, or that you just have the i'tiqad that this is just a reason that if Allah that Allah has legislated upon the messenger for me to read certain ayat, and as a result of it, Allah will give me a protector. Huh? You have to be careful. Heart being connected with the Mus'haf, khata, wrong. Is it clear? طيب. Same thing here. طيب, now we're talking about omens. What does it say? There's no good except your good. There's no omen except your omen. So it says, what is the expiation for that? Okay. The expiation now. Meaning, what is the medicine that will remove this type of sickness? Meaning, after it's done, if one does it, falls into it, now there's an expiation for this. He would say what? This dua. Here. There's no good except your good. And there's no what? There's no omen except your omen. And there's no deity where they worship except you, subhanahu. طيب. So this is a dua right here. It says, there's no good except your good. فَأَنْتَ الَّذِي بِيَدِكَ الْخَيْرِ الْمُبَاشِرِ. For verily in your hand is all good. Directly. Whether it be of rain, the plants, or other than what is indirect. طيب. Every affair in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made some good, the ibad, all of us believe that it's just a reason. Even the people that help you. You understand? Even at your job, your boss gives you your provisions after you've done your work. طيب, you believe that the provisions come from Allah. But your boss, this was the mere what? Reason. It's the sabab. If Allah wanted, He could make your boss not give you your money, and something could happen. Is it clear or not? طيب, person, you believe he's the reason. You believe he's the reason. طيب, even though you've still been commanded for those who do ihsan and good towards you to still be what? Thankful to them. Even though you still have the belief that they're just the reason, you still have good dealings with the person who actually gave it to you, even though ultimately it's still from Allah ta'ala. Because we believe that all good is from Allah. Ultimately. And that Allah just made this individual as a reason, as a provisions to go through to it to be delivered to you by that person. Is it clear or not? But you ultimately have the belief that that person is the reason. And at the same time, you're still thankful to the person who gave you that good. Wait. You understand? Is it clear or is it not? طيب. If you now have your heart tied in with the reason, this is where it gets dangerous. You understand? You lose the i'tiqad that ultimately that the provisions are from Allah, and you just believe that that person specifically is the one where your provisions come from. Now it's starting to creep in another realm, and now it's creeping in something else. Is it clear what I'm saying, everyone? Is it clear or is it not clear? For even the people that have now been a reason to delivering Allah's provisions to you, because ultimately it's all Allah's provisions. Still at the same time, you're thankful for those who give you those provisions. Because Allah did make them the reasons for you having it. So you still what? Thankful to them, and you still give them good treatment and show that type of gratitude towards them. Is it clear what I'm saying, everyone? So what was your question, Rashid?
What about medicine and doctors? A lot of
Same thing. Same thing. Also, the sabab is also from the form of what's considered a sabab or reason. It also goes back to what? Medicines. The sabab can be either what? As they say, two types. This is to answer your question. It could be kawni or it could be shar'i. The reasons could be either what? Kawni or it could be what? Shar'i. It could be from this world, such as medicines. Medicines that you take. Those different types of cures and remedies that you buy or purchase, whether they be from herbs, not that which is smoked or intoxicated, but what you take orally through medicines, in which it's been by, or it's known by trial and error and experience that it does have a benefit on or an effect on your body. Is it clear what I'm saying? There's a reason why we say that, so we can knock out people who practice magic. You understand? Is it clear what I'm saying or not? Those type of reasons are called kawni, meaning what Allah made as a reason to benefit you in this existence. How? Still, even though you take the herbs and you take the medicine, you still have to have the i'tiqad that Allah Ta'ala is the one that ultimately allows the medicine to have an effect on your body. Because if Allah Ta'ala willed, you could take the medicine and it still won't have no effect. Is it clear or is it not clear? Allah just made them a reason, a sabab for you to gain some type of what? Cure or some type of benefit. Is it clear or not? How many people take medicine and don't have no effect? It doesn't affect at all. So you have what is considered a reason as far as in this existence, such as doctors taking medicines, taking herbs, taking it orally, not smoking it, taking it orally through medicines that does not intoxicate or change the demeanor. I'm not talking about that. We're talking about medicines that's done through trial and error and experience that they do affect the body. Those are still considered what? A mere sabab, reason. And you still, when you take medicine, you have to have the belief that these medicines only have a benefit by Allah's permission. Because ultimately, there's people out there have taken medicine and still does not have any effect. So you still have to have the i'tiqad, that the belief that ultimately the benefit happens by Allah's permission. Is it clear or not? So, what is pertaining to sabab, we said number one is kawni, from this existence. From the medicines, the herbs, the doctors, the people, and other than that. All these people, all these affairs are just a mere what? Reasons. Is it clear or not? Then you have what's the reason, sabab, that which is shar'i, which is in Kitaab and Sunnah. From the supplications and the recitations of the Quran, when reading over someone, or reciting certain supplications, or reading over yourself, those are other sabab, or other ways to gain benefit. Or for example, now I'm going to give everyone, ask them a question. What about honey? Is that kawni or shar'i? Is that in this existence or is that Kitab and Sunnah? Huh? Could be both. But what as far as honey and its origin, it's also kawni, from the creation. It could be shar'i also. طيب. What about the Prophet ﷺ mentioning about the urine of what is considered a remedy for the stomach by drinking the urine of Ahsan, of the camel. No, I'm saying Bukhari. طيب. What is that? Kawni or shar'i? It's kawni. It could be shar'i also. The Prophet ﷺ legislated it. طيب. Reading, supplication. Oh, that's easy. I just said it. Reading the supplication of when you feel sad, you want it to be removed. What's that? Kawni or Shar'i? Shar'i. Reading Ayat al-Kursi at night before you go to bed. Kawni, Shar'i? Shar'i. طيب. Reading Surah al-Ikhlas with the Mu'awwidhatayn, then blowing a mist in your mouth, then wipe it over your body as much as you can. Kawni, Shar'i? Shar'i. طيب. Wearing a cast on your arm. Wearing a cast on your arm to help heal the bone, a broken bone. Kawni, Shar'i? Kawni. Kawni. J. All these are considered the what, everyone? The reasons, the asbab. They can either be kawni or it can be what? Shar'i. طيب. This right here, Tiyara. This right here, a person now relies on this to be some type of what? Reason or to attain some type of benefit or ward off some type of evil from himself. طيب. A person thinks this is a sabab. Is this been legislated kawni or shar'i? This type of belief here. Is it kawni or shar'i? It's not either. It's absolute shirk. Is it kawni or shar'i? This here. It's nothing at all. It's shirk. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not make it a sabab. Not kawnan or shar'an. Is it clear what I'm saying? As a result of it, if that's the case, then it's what? It's polytheism. Because Allah did not make it a sabab for you to protect yourself or ward off some type of evil or a type of fortification from any type of harm or any type of what? Evil. Or for means for you to attain some type of benefit whatsoever. For anything that Allah did not make it as a reason, then it is considered shirk. Whether or not, depending on that thing of how much your heart is attached to it, depends on whether or not it's considered minor or major polytheism. Is it clear or not? Is it clear or not clear, Musa? J. So keep in mind, this is going on over 24 hours. I didn't eat anything. And I'm wide awake, right? J. And the last time a person might say, oh, you drunk some coffee. No, I didn't drink coffee since 8 o'clock this morning. I drank a little cup this big. That's it. With no sugar in it. Huh? No, that was the one you gave me. That was the one you gave me. Matter of fact, I drank the coffee you gave me. That little small cup. It didn't have no sugar in it. No, it didn't. Jade. Is it clear or is it not? Is it clear, Musa? Jade. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not make it a sabab. He did not make it a what? Reason. So notice all these affairs is connected with the birds. Notice in all through the whole chapter, everything has been mentioned the word tayr, tira, tatayur. All these narrations from the beginning of the chapters and the end of the chapter. Right or wrong? Did you notice that? All the word that was used, tayr, tira, tatayur. All of them are derivatives from all of them going back to the same root word. Ultimately, at the end of the day, they're just different derivatives, whether they be verbs or the actual bird itself, the noun, meaning the bird itself, to the end of it. You understand? Type. Why were these words used? Why was any things connected with the birds used so much? Because in Jahiliyyah, this was prominent amongst the Arab. Even though the Messenger of Allah ﷺ used the word birds, or what was a derivative of it, but the reason why it was used because it was prevalent, it was prominent amongst the Arab at their time that their omens came from the source of the birds, or it came from the birds. Excuse me. Is it clear? Is it not? Even though at the same time it's comprehensive for every type of superstition or myth or anything that would affect one's life as far as evil or what is good or what is benefit or what is considered to be something that you would not do or that what you would do or what you hold you back from doing something or that one might push you out to do something. all of it still the meaning of the bird here is comprehensive for all these different types of what? Meanings that we mentioned. Is it clear or not? So don't just think, as a person that they was reading the explanation, they say, oh, I don't believe in birds, is pertaining to birds. That's not the meaning. The meaning is comprehensive for all these affairs of jahiliyyah, of what will hold you back, whether it be pertaining to the birds or dog or cat or bird droppings. I hate saying dookie. Bird droppings or what have you. Is it clear what I'm saying, everyone? Or whatever it is. Or a ladder, or you walking out of a ladder, or you stand in the mirror and it's cracked, or you let a broom touch you in your feet and you think you got to spit on it. So all the other filthy ideologies of jahiliyyah that we used to believe, that we think had some type of effect or influence on our lives. Is it clear? Jayyid. Mumtaz. That's why you'll also find that Allah Ta'ala even mentioned about the birds, but alhamdulillah, we don't have to talk about that. We finished it. Alhamdulillah. Taib. So what's the benefit of this narration so we can finish? So we can go on to the next part. Taib. Next hadith of Fadl ibn Abbas. Last one in the chapter. So we can finish. Tafadal. Read it for me, Hassan. Read it for me. The last one, Fadl ibn Abbas. Al-Fadl ibn Abbas. You see it? It's the last one. There you go. That one. That one. That one.
Also collected by Ahmed is a hadith from
Fadl ibn Al-Fadl.
ibn Abbas.
Jayyid.
Tira is only Tira.
Leave him. Let him try. Don't attack him. لا تهجم عليه.
Tira is only if you proceed or refrain because of it.
طيب. This narration here basically gives more detail and clarification of the one that came before it. So this gave something ziyada, gave something extra. The first one, the narration before it, that's talking about what will make you not carry out in a certain affair. So it says in the previous narration, من ردته الطيرة عن حاجته فقد أشرك. Whatever of an omen or a particular affair or superstition that it makes you go back or makes you turn around after you set out to do it. Here in this narration, it gives you something extra. What does this say here? What does it say here in this one specifically? Tafadal.
It's only believing in omens if it affects your actions.
No. This last one gives you more detail. Of course, you're right. But this one here gives you something extra. What made you what? Go forward or? So it gives you both. The narration before only gave you if it just pushes you back. Pushes you back. Makes you turn around. Here it's saying if it makes you what? Go forward. To embark upon it. To do it. To want to do it now. I really might be going out the house and I don't feel like doing it. Oh. The birds flew east today. Oh, I really want to go out and do it today now. You understand? It flew west, I'm going back in the house. Flew east, I want to do it now. That means I'm going to have a real good day today. The money is going to flow. The sun is going to shine my way today. Right? You understand? So this narration here clearly gives you something extra. إِنَّمَا الطِّيَرَةَ مَا أَمْضَاكَ أَوْ رَدَّكَ. So evil omens is what now makes you embark upon something or what might make you turn around not do it. So I gave you both. طيب. So now, alhamdulillah, this is exactly what I just said. طيب, is it major or minor polytheism? Bilal? Is it major or minor polytheism? 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 Is it major or minor polytheism Jayyid. That's all I wanted to hear. It depends. Jayyid. So that's what I wanted to hear. Mumtaz. So, just to gather up some of the benefits of these narrations. Notice in this chapter that we just covered it. We covered everyone. It's compromising. Not compromise. It's comprehensive for giving the not only what the details of this affair is, but also giving the remedy and the medicine if this was to happen. So you had two supplications in here, right, everyone? Type. Number one is the origin of this affair. As we know, if you notice in that narration that we covered, one of the reasons why this affair is considered shirk because yunafi at-tawakkul. That it what? Negates one's reliance on Allah. One's reliance on Allah to be with Allah. Right? So that's how, number one treats this type of sickness. Whereas, like we mentioned, it said that one rectifies his belief where he totally relies upon his Lord to be with Allah. Because once you have that, you have reliance on Allah solely and exclusively, do you know nothing happens in your life except that you know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowed it to happen to you. Doesn't matter what it is, of good and evil. You understand, everyone? Allah allowed it to happen. And anything that's in this world has no influence, ultimately. Except, like we said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made asbab, reasons for certain things. But ultimately, if the affair, if it's not legislated, then we know that it's absolute polytheism and it's incumbent upon one to what? To stay away from it. And even if it is a sabab, or a sabab that's shara'i, or kawni, that is legislated, whether it be from those medicines that are halal, or those legislated methods that comes in Kitaab and Sunnah, still one has to have his reliance still in what? In Allah to be with Allah. Is it clear or not? So that's the first thing. You'll find that the great Imam Ibn Fawzan, he even mentions this, Hafidhullah. He says, الأمر الأول هو الأصل التوكل على الله وأنه لا يأتي بالخير ولا يدفع الشر إلا هو وهو الذي يأتي بالخير ويدفع الشر وهو الذي يضر وينفع وهو الذي يتصرف فإذا توكل على الله فإن الطيرة لا تضره. He said the number one, the origin is one have absolute reliance upon Allah. That no one brings any good, or no one can bring any good, or repel any evil except Allah. He is the one that brings the good and repels the evil, or wards off the evil. And He is the one that allows harm, or He is the one that ultimately gives any type of harm, and He is the one that ultimately gives any type of benefit. And He's the one that conducts in all the affairs of this existence. For verily, if a person relies upon Allah, for verily he knows that tiyara, omens, will never harm him. Superstitions, oaths, myths, no matter what it is. All these affairs will be what? Meaningless and baseless. Is it clear or not? That's number one. Number two, based upon these narrations of what we just covered, and a believer always sets out to carry out his affairs. Once he sets out and embarks upon it, he puts his trust in Allah. No matter what he sees or what he might hear, for verily none of these matters will never want to hold him back. None of these affairs holds him back. Once he puts his trust in Allah to be with Allah, then it will never repel him. And never what? Hold him back from whatever he wants to set out to actualize and accomplish. None of these affairs will hold him back. Number three, if one wants to make these supplications, to say them, Memorize them and say them. Allahumma la yati bil khayri illa ant, wa la yati bil hasanati illa ant, wa la yarfa'u sayyiati illa ant, wa la quwwata, wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa bik. That's one of the supplications that we already mentioned. Those supplications also will aid one to removing any of these whispers and removing these sicknesses, if one has been what? Tested with them. So those are the other reasons of why one wants to be protected from this type of sickness or these type of tests that certain people are tested with. This is what he will what? This is what he or she will utilize to protect himself, to remove any of these whispers, so one's heart can be tied in only with Allah Ta'ala. طيب, read the Masail, because we got to finish. Because we got to go into the next. Read the Masail. Yeah, number 1. Do you have the translation? I keep going. I'm going this way. Everybody's book is reversed. Where is the Masail? Oh, it's at the bottom of the page. There it is.
Explaining the saying of Allah, rather their evil beliefs based on their omens are about Allah, but most of them do not know what your omens are for you.
طيب, verily their omen is with Allah. Huh? What does it mean? Tafadhal, Hassan.
Allah loves good and evil.
Jay, that's all I needed to hear. I ain't need to hear nothing more, nothing less. Good and evil in this existence happens by Allah's permission. Another question, Bilal. Question. Is evil ascribed to Allah? Jay. But is the evil ascribed to Allah though? Jay. So where does the evil lie in? People's actions, which is the creation. Jade. طيب, says what is the meaning of the ayat? Verily your omen is with you. What's the meaning? Because it's 2 ayats. One's ayat is with Musa and the other is with Rashid. Your omen is with you, meaning your actions is the reason that brought these. Verily your ta'ir is with you, meaning your actions was caused you to be in the state that you're in now. Your actions brought these consequences upon yourself, or what was reprehensible is now what happened as a result of your actions. Is it clear? Is it not clear? So that the first ayah is saying that all these affairs happens by Allah's permission. The second ayah is saying that the reason for this evil happening is what? Because of the people's actions, evil actions. Tayyib. And some of them say that the meaning of the ayah, as far as the second ayah, is that basically what you're saying about us, that it's against you. It falls upon you and it's against you. Tayyib. Second, because we got to read all of them. They ain't even translated, huh? The negation of what? Contagious sicknesses. Is that true or not? What is the meaning of it? Abdullah. Jayid. The meaning of the hadith, there's no contagious sicknesses. Meaning there's no contagious sicknesses that move or is transmitted except by Allah's permission. That's the meaning of the hadith. Is it clear or not clear? Hanif, you with me? That's the meaning of the hadith. The hadith does not mean that there's no such thing as transmitted, or there's no such thing as contagious sicknesses. That's not the meaning. Meaning is that all sicknesses in this dunya, they're not transmitted except by Allah's permission. Is it clear or not clear? And taking the asbab, the means to protect oneself in certain cases, is what? Legislated. As long as it doesn't reach to the level where you become absolutely paranoid, as you see certain people, when certain people coughing at you, people take it to a whole nother level. In certain instances, yes. But ultimately, if one has strong iman, and he has strong iman, he knows that ultimately that I won't be affected unless Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala willed it for me, for the sickness to actually be transmitted to me. No matter how much I wear a mask on my face, or what have you. If a person has strong iman, he will know ultimately at the end of the day, if Allah wants you to have it, it'll be transmitted. And if Allah does not, then it won't be transmitted. Is it clear? So that's to be the hadith. Type number 3. Read for me, Hassan. Number 3. The negation of al-tiyara. What does it mean? Ahmed? Of course. What does it mean? Negation of evil omens. Negation of evil, you just gave me a little translation of nephew tiyara. What does it mean? What do we say? Why does it keep vibrating? Tafadal, Jamar.
All the superstitions, you destroy them. All the superstitions, you don't believe in them at all. You rely upon them.
Jay, who's going to say Abdullah? They have no effect on you. They have no effect on your life. They have no effect. Not going to do anything to you. Rather, we talked about the explanation of these narrations. A person might say, Tayyib, when I didn't do such and such, when I didn't spit on the broom, something bad happened to me. Let's just say, for example, somebody hit you with a broom. So, and we know that from their superstitions is what? You got to spit on there, something bad is going to happen to you, right? Tayyib, something happened to me. Somebody hit me with the broom, something bad happened to me. Or, for example, let's say the opposite. I hit the broom, I spit on it, alhamdulillah, nothing happened to me. Or let's just say, for example, the black cat came in front of me, and I allowed it to pass in front of me, something bad happened to me. I should have just stayed in the house. Tayyib, we said from the consequences of following these evil beliefs, Allah could have something bad happen to you as a consequence of you believing in it. Is it clear? You understand? As a test for you to see whether or not you'll be led astray by it. You understand? Just as certain people are misled by evil beliefs, such as the belief that for example, that Jesus Christ died on this, that Jesus Christ forgive my sins, and as soon as I embraced Christianity, all my evil of my whole life went away. My whole life changed for the better. Tayyib. As for you leaving off the haqq, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to mislead you. Tayyib, so Allah wa ta'ala switched the affair. Whereas you're misled by this matter, where now Allah wa ta'ala switched it for you as a test and a trial for you to be led astray by this matter. For you leaving off the truth and the consequence, Allah switched it. So you're thinking now that what? Me embracing this falsehood, all this good started happening to me. You understand, everyone? There's a benefit that I wanted to talk about, that I talked about this a couple of days ago. That during on this dunya, in this world, when the world is about to end, the Prophet ﷺ informed that the hour will be established upon the most evil of creation, right? It says in the narration, which is in Muslim, it says that فَيَبْقَى شِرَارُ الْخَلْقِ, right? فَيَبْقَى شِرَارُ الْخَلْقِ يَتَهَارَجُونَ تَهَارَجُ الْحُمُرِ. تهرج الحمر إلى أن قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم بينما هم كذلك فدار رزقهم حسن عيشهم فعليهم تقوم الساعة. Listen to this. He says that the most evil of creation will remain on the last days of this dunya. Right? Right before the day of resurrection is about to start. طيب. The Prophet ﷺ informed, he says that there will be people يَتَهَارَجُونَ تَهَارَجُ الْحُمُرِ. People basically doing anything and everything. Killing, murder, bloodshed, filthy acts with the private part, you name it, they doing it. This is the point of the narration. How is this relevant to what I'm saying now? Listen. Darun rizquhum. Allah will give them an abundance of provisions. Give them good. And he says they will be living very what? Very well. This is their state, and despite of that, Allah still was giving them what? Good. He says he will bestow upon them good provisions in abundance, abundantly. Even though they will be like what? Worse than animals. Conducting themselves more filthy and more horrible than animals. And despite of that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will still give them what? An abundance of provisions and give them good life. And the Prophet ﷺ said that they are the worst of creation, and upon them the day of resurrection will be what? Established. So that's to let you know that evil people, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala still can give them what? Can give them good. Is it clear? So just because a person leaves off what is correct and they embrace what's falsehood, and your life changes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala still can allow something to what? That for you to be misled by that affair. Or it could be the opposite. Due to the fact that you believe these type of evil beliefs, Allah ta'ala could cause something bad to happen to you as a result of the consequences for you embracing these type of evil beliefs. Is it clear or is it not clear? So just because something happens, whether it be of good and evil, does not determine whether or not that affair is considered what is correct or is incorrect. The affair revolves around the text of the Kitaab and Sunnah, not based upon what is the outcome of a certain event or consequence of that event. Is it clear or not? If everything revolves around the what? The text of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has clearly mentioned in the Kitaab and Sunnah. Is it clear or not? Next one. Read it, Hassan. Hamma. We already talked about that. We talked about the owl. It's a type of bird. Or the owl. O-W-L. We talked about that. The beliefs and the evil omens of the owl. Right? We already talked about the meaning of that, right? Number 5.
The negation of
Safar. Not sifr. Don't say sifr. Sifr means 0. Safar. Safar means what? The month of Safar, meaning any type of superstitions that the Arab used to believe in the month of Safar. That they didn't used to what? Just to sum it up, during the summer, the month of Safar, that during the month of Safar, they didn't used to travel a lot, and they didn't used to get married in Safar. That was from the affairs of Jahiliyyah. They didn't used to do travel. They didn't used to travel, nor they would get married. Because they think that something will happen during their travels or their journeys, or they think that their marriage will not be what? Successful. So they will avoid getting married, or during these times, or these periods, doing these or participating in these type of what matters. Is it clear or not? Next one. Don't fall asleep now. Not when you have a person that hasn't eaten anything in 25 hours and I'm wide awake. Huh? Focus. Come on. Six.
The fa'al is not included, rather it is not recommended.
Jade. Al-fa'al is not from that. Meaning, what does that mean, everyone? Alhamdulillah, Abdullah gave the correct answer. He said the Prophet ﷺ was given an exception. From what? فالفعل فعل is not a bad omen. المتفائل كن متفائلا ولا تكن متشائما. Or incantation. طيب Ahmed, I want to hear what Ahmed says. He's going to ask me a question. I'm just. Fa'al is a good omen. The Prophet ﷺ said here. طيب, it says in the narration, وكان يعجبه الفعل. قال وما الفعل؟ قال الكلمة الطيبة. The Prophet ﷺ said, الطيرة الشرك, طيرة الشرك, right? طيب. However, the Prophet ﷺ made an exception from the tiyara. For verily he used to be, what used to please him was what? Or used to like a what? Fa'al. Fa'al. So they said, oh wait, there's an exception to the rule here. What is the meaning of al-fa'al? Prophet ﷺ gave the exception by explaining what is the meaning of a good omen here. What does it mean of a good omen? Something positive, which means what? A kind word. That's it. No more, no less. Is it clear? A kind word. That's it. Meaning, for example, what, everyone? Ahsant. You see someone looking bad, dad. Akhi, don't worry. It's going to be okay. Inshallah. Put your trust in Allah. Everything's going to be fine. Is it clear what I'm saying? But why did the Prophet ﷺ make this type? Why is it considered why would this in its origin be considered a tiyara somewhat? Why? Fadda Ahmed. Exactly. But you want to add something, Rashid?
It's when it's heard.
Ahsant. That's another reason. What you can see? Yeah. Tafadal.
I thought it was when you wanted to be optimistic towards somebody.
It's it too. Tafadal. Jayyid. The reason why it's considered a fa'al, why the Prophet ﷺ called it somewhat of an omen, or why it's considered from that aspect, because a kind word can it can change your feeling, your direction of what you're doing. So from that aspect, it was in that origin somewhat connected, but there's exception to it. Whereas that kind word is what's actually what? Permitted. For right now, you come out the house, you're about to do for example, let's just give a realistic type of example of contemporary times. You're going out and you want to, let's just say, you want to go take your driver's test to get your license. You're coming out, you're looking real anxious and worried. A person comes up, friend of you, where you going? I'm going to get my driver's, take my test. I'm just nervous. All right, don't worry. You pass every test that I know you did because you're very intelligent. It's going to come easy to you. You're going to do good. Put your trust in Allah. You're going to do well. As soon as someone say that to you, be like, now you feel good. See, now that what he did it kind of inspired you. It pushed you to what? You get it? Made you relax. Made you positive. And it made you mutafa'il, for the word fa'al. Mutafa'il, it made you what? Optimistic. That's the word. Made you optimistic. Because that's how you say it in Arabic, mutafa'il. Because it comes from the word fa'al. Mutafa'il means to be optimistic. Mutasha'im means to be pessimistic. طيب. So now, once that person says it to you, it pushed you. So that aspect, from here in this aspect, that's the reason why it was connected with being somewhat of a what? Somewhat of a what? What was considered the aspect of a tiyara from this aspect as far as it pushing you to do something. But it's not was considered impermissible. It is permissible. Rather, it's recommended. Is it clear or is it not clear? Plus, it's also connected with something that you hear. Just as one of the brothers said. You hear it. And it affects you, just like some of those omens. Because some of them omens are from those omens that are evil, something that you hear. We're just showing how they're connected and why the Prophet ﷺ still described it as being a fa'al, but he excused it for being what is impermissible. He made this rather what is what? Permitted, and rather it was encouraged for one to do it, and that's why the Prophet ﷺ used to like it. Also, the narration with Rashid, which you gave me a couple of weeks ago, where some of the Sahaba, they had a name. Like, for example, Wahab al-Khair. Or some of the Sahaba will have Sahal. Sahala, or Ja'a Sahlun, Fasahala lana al-Amr. Like, for example, one of the Sahaba's name was Sahal. Sahal has come, in which, inshallah, the affair has become Sahal. The affair has now become easy. Because Sahal came. All those are good words that bring some type of what? In situation, what everyone? Optimistic. So this is what we're talking about. Next masala. I'm sorry. Is it clear or is it not clear? I want nobody to think walking out here saying it's not permissible to say a kind word. It is. Tafadhal.
Any hesitation that occurs in the hearts due to omens will not actually cause harm. Rather, Allah will remove it if tawakkul is present.
What is tawakkul? Reliance. Reliance. Put reliance. Only they didn't translate tawakkul. ده أن الواقع في القلوب من ذلك مع كراهته لا يضر بل يذهبه الله بالتوكل. That al-waqi', what comes in the heart of a person of any of this, and even though he hates it, of course it will not harm him, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will remove it by reliance. That's clear. Ninth, Hassan.
Mentioning what should be said by one in such case.
ذكر ما يقول من وجده. Would a person mentioning what a person would say if he what? If he finds that. Number 10.
The clarification that tiyara is shirk.
The clarification that tiyara is shirk. What kind of shirk? It depends. Ahsan. It depends. It depends. Depends. You understand, Bilal? Last one. Read it, Musa.
The explanation of the blameworthy tiyara.
The blameworthy tiyara, as if there's a praiseworthy tiyara. What is he talking about? We already explained this. You would think that this is the tafsir of the condemned, this praiseworthy tiyara. Will you understand that there's a praiseworthy tiyara? Al-fa'al. Jay. Fa'al, we already explained it. 5 minutes ago, we just was talking about this. Jay. So that's the end of that chapter. I will stop here. The next one starts in Tanjim. We started in Tanjim already? We did. Astronomy and astrology, we started in already? Oh. I thought there was a... طيب, stop here. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. Any questions about the lesson? Father.
So, when you said the hour will be established on the most evilest creation, like when you're talking about like people who start killing each other and stuff like that.
Jade. He talked about the hadith. He said in the last days of times, what the Prophet ﷺ said, he says, فَيَبْقَى شِرَارُ الْخَلْقِ فَيَتَهَارَجُونَ تَهَارُجَ الْحُمُرِ بينما هم كذلك فدار رزقهم فحسن عيشهم فعليهم تقوم الساعة. The people who on the last days of earth who will be the most wretched of creation. طيب, as we know, in the last days of times, everything will be removed of anything pertaining to the religion Not only the religion itself, the Quran will be removed, the revelation will be removed, and the people of the truth will be removed. And just the mention of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's name will be removed. Type. Upon that, there will be people who will be like absolute savages. That will be left. Killing, murder, and they're doing basically anything. Anything. Even as far as abominable acts with the private part, as they say, anything goes, that will be happening. You understand? The Prophet ﷺ informed, he said, and they will be in that state, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bestow upon them abundantly their provisions. And they will be living well. He says, and upon that, the hour will be established. Is it clear? Is that clear?
But yeah, doesn't that relate? I was just about to say, like, doesn't that relate to like right now? They say like,
No.
the purge or whatever.
No.
Like,
That's not referring to now.
okay.
Alhamdulillah, the Kitaab and Sunnah is still around, the people of the truth still around. Inshallah. Alhamdulillah. By the fadl of Allah, the Quran is still right there on the shelf. And alhamdulillah, we're all reading the Sunnah. We said at the last days and times, all of this is removed. What you see in front of you, all of this is gone. It's going to be gone. All of this. Everything we're studying, the Mus'haf, everything in the last days on earth will be gone. Gone. Even the people of the truth, gone. No, it'll be removed. Allah will remove them. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will remove them. And talking about the wind will come on the last days of earth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will cause the wind. For anybody who had an Adam's way to faith, Allah wa ta'ala will take their soul by that wind. Huh? تفضل. Not al-fa'l. Al-fa'lu. Al-fa'l. Al-fa'lu. Huh? Absolutely. No doubt. No doubt. كلمة الطيبة صدقة. A good word is a sadaqah. No doubt you get rewarded. No doubt about that. Anything else?
One more question.
Fadl Hassan.
So, when you just said about the wind, that brings me back to I'm not sure this.
Let him ask.
It said like when Musa, at the time of Musa, or whatever, did like when they did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala take the people his soul when like he said put something over the doors and then
No, we talked about the story of Musa.
yeah.
We talk. How you jump from the last days and times on the earth to the story of Musa?
The one reminded me because he said cover the doors with
No. We're talking about the last days of the dunya that will last. That will be just before the day of resurrection is about to commence. Where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to command where the horn will be blown. When that's about to happen, the Prophet ﷺ gave us description of how the earth will be. Whereas there will be nothing of the remembrance of Allah in this dunya. It will be all gone. Kitaab, Sunnah, the people, even Allah's name will not be mentioned. You understand? There will be nothing left. All right? Then the people will be driven to the Ard al-Mahshar. The Ard al-Mahshar, where they say is somewhere in Sham. The Prophet ﷺ gave a description that where the people will be gathered, where the day of resurrection will start, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will cause them to be driven somewhere in a place in Sham. Sham is in the Middle East, somewhere in that area where we know presently or currently today, where Syria is, Jordan is, Palestine. Those are all areas what they call Sham. And I think Lebanon too. They consider Lebanon to be Sham too? Lebanon, Palestine, Syria, Jordan, they're all considered Sham. That's where the Ard al-Mahshar, where everybody will be pushed. Then the hour will be established. Day of resurrection will start.
afraid sometimes at the day of judgment. Like some Fridays, they would look to see if the sun came out from the west.
This is true. This is true. But still, at the end of the day, we know that there are signs that all of these are indications that, inshallah, bi'idhnillah, that none of the day of resurrection will be, we hope, even though all the stage has been set for the Dajjal to be released soon. Because that's where it's all adding up to. Everything that you see now of chaos that's taking place everywhere is all set in the stage for the releasement of the Dajjal. Everything that you see taking place. Everything. From the Khawarij, from chaos, from violence, from everything that's taking place in the Middle East, you see everything is coming together for the release of the Dajjal. And all the different prevalence of Ahl-Bid'ah and the wickedness, how it's increasing every year, and how people are getting more and more wicked and evil and more wicked and evil, and how in their mindset, you see that it's all setting the stage for the Dajjal for his release. That's what you see, what's coming all together.
The Dajjal appears in our times. What should we do?
You really? You asking me? The Prophet ﷺ made it clear what to do. Not right now. That's a long. That's a whole topic. Prophet ﷺ, that's a topic in itself. The Dajjal's to be released, what to do? That's a whole topic. Maybe we'll talk about that later. Anything else about the lesson? About the lesson? Anything else? So I can eat finally. Keep in mind, I haven't eaten anything 26 hours now. It's going on 25, almost 26. No, I'm just like, okay. I have a certain way that I eat. I'll teach you guys how to eat and be energetic, even though you haven't eaten anything for hours and hours. I'll teach you later. With no carbohydrates at all. None. Anything else? وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.